Keto. I'm proof it works, at least for weight loss. But what else can you get out of it? Let's talk about that and find out.
This is United Aholes, a video cast discussing cultural topics with no filter.
Welcome back to Area 41, Dr. Rhonda Patrick's favorite spot on the internet.
Who?
Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Who's Dr. Rhonda Patrick?
She's
the only doctor I didn't see this week.
She is a PhD in chemistry and micronutrition who Joe Rogan has on about once every 9 to 10 months. And the first time
Is
I
he
heard
banging her?
No, he's not. She also has a YouTube channel and a podcast. She's one of those people that when she talks, you have to listen to it about 10 times in order to unwrap everything she says. She's very quick. She's extremely intelligent. And she also portrays that keto is a valid diet, but not the only one. There are other ways to lose weight. Oh, yeah. The big thing that she stands behind is proper nutrient balance in a diet. And she also does all the testing of if you take, vitamin B supplements, what happens with it if you don't have the catalyst to absorb that vitamin, or what is the catalyst to absorb the vitamin. And she covers all that stuff in all her podcasts. She'll pick a different topic every. Totally worth the time to listen to and go check out. She's genius, and she's not like faux science. She's hardcore science, like legit.
Oh, nice.
It's not just, I feel it's. She definitely doesn't buy into homeopathy and natural medicine, I guess.
And essential oils?
Essential oils, yeah.
So the body hacks type of thing.
Yeah. She gets into all that, and where to get some of the nutrients that you would be looking for in a diet, certain foods that you wouldn't be aware of.
I'll have to look her up.
So she's totally worth a watch. Anyway, that's
I bet
the
she's
reason
written some books.
She has. The reason I reference her is before I realized what keto was, but was sort of on it by accident. She came on a Rogan podcast I was listening to at work and identified exactly my diet while I was on it, and then labeled it as keto. And I was like, oh. And then when I started digging into it further, that's where I got onto the train, and that's just a mere 4 or 5
And here
years.
we all are.
Here you all are because of me being a dick.
So you said you weren't on keto, but you were on keto. So how did that all come about?
So my brother-in-law lost a lot of weight in a very short period of time. And I said, how did you do it, man? Like, we were both about the same size, same height, everything along. And all of a sudden he shows up to a family gathering and like 50 pounds lighter than I am, in way better shape and feeling like $100 bill. And I was like, how'd you do it? And he goes, I'll send you a list. I just got a list of things I tried. And the ones that work, I stuck with. And it was literally a list of like 60 things. If I can find it, I will post it somewhere. Basically, the first one on the list is eat nothing from a sealed wrapper.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I went to the grocery store that very next day to get lunch, as I normally do. And I walked in and immediately knocked out about everything that I'd been getting for the last 2 years. And went, okay, what do I get? So that day I opted for a head of broccoli and some dip. And the dip technically was a sealed wrapper, but I was like, I don't care, I'm having it. So, And I started down the path and gradually realized, just started trying things. So one of the things I said, cut out sugar for a week, and I felt amazing. And I was like, okay, now drop bread, and now drop. And as I did those, I felt better and better without realizing that I was gradually narrowing myself into a keto diet without knowing what keto was. I had no idea. Then probably about 4 to 5 weeks into me trying things, I kind of settled on what I was going to do. I'm going to stick with vegetables and meat. Now, I wasn't doing the high-fat thing, but I was doing vegetables, meat, no bread, no rice, basically cut the carbs out, cut the sugar out. I was trying to stay as fresh food as possible, not even processed meats or anything. I felt amazing. And then I listened to the podcast, and then when she started talking about bumping up fat levels to hit the ketosis line, I did that, and it was probably 2 weeks later I was down 20 pounds from where I was when I heard the podcast.
Wow.
And then I continued on until I hit a low point where I didn't feel good, and then I moved back up and I kind of fluctuate now. I just kind of dance in my happy spot.
Nice.
So you lost too much weight.
There was a point where I won't say I lost too much weight. I probably lost it the wrong way. That's how I would word it.
Yeah.
I should have offset my weight loss with a training regimen toward that lower end. and gain some of the weight back, but as muscle,
Okay.
then I probably would have felt good. But when I got to that low point, it was bad. It was really bad. So anyway, as you probably realized, we're talking about ketosis. Because all of us in one way or another have entered into this diet, tried it, stuck with it or not, but also seen the benefits, I dare say, across the board. So Brent, why don't you enlighten us with what you're thinking, man?
Well, I made some notes, and I'll throw it out and see if any of you. Well, you're the only person I don't know. Have you used?
I've been
Keto.
I
I know
was
the
on
rest of you
keto
assholes
probably about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so Halden was at 220
Yeah,
Okay.
and did keto till you got down to 190.
190.
And then said, okay, that's enough. I'm going to try calorie restriction.
Okay.
And he's done well with it. He's got discipline that I don't have.
So weight loss is the top of the list, which I knew that we were all going to talk about. So I noticed I had on my arms before this, right here, it was just bumps, just like little dried zits type of stuff, which is something I'd had for a very long time. It is now gone. And they were red too. I mean, I still have some, I don't know, almost freckling or whatever there, but it looked a whole lot different. And it's gone. I just noticed it one day that it's history. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's the diet change with that. Energy. Like your energy levels are up. And I imagine the weight loss is part of that as well.
You're not carrying the extra weight.
Around that extra, yeah.
More push-ups in the Cabbage Patch?
Actually, my wife looked into it, and there are people that
Testosterone levels increase.
Increase in sex hormones, yes.
Testosterone definitely comes up heavily.
Yeah.
To the point where some UFC fighters will piss test and fail on enhancements because of their diet will increase the testosterone level.
Wow.
Joe Rogan's actually done the test and has overshot the number that they deem reasonable, even though it's just dietary driven. But he's gone over the level of testosterone in the system that's permitted.
Wow.
So it seems like he's drugging when really he's not. It's just diet control.
Right on. Crazy. Dandruff was another one. I have no idea if it's, but these are things I've noticed since.
No dandruff?
Less. I won't say no. Dandruff wasn't anything I had an issue with, but I had noticed that I'm like, man, I never had dandruff before. And anyway, that has scaled back. And again, that may be, I'm not saying that keto did this. It may be to do with the weight loss. That could be a portion of it as well. But
Correlation, not causation.
Right. Yeah. But using keto to get the weight off also brought these benefits along with. I mean, you can probably get there other ways. But that was something that I noticed. Mm-hmm. So.
And there was one you mentioned before, not on your list. You feel cold all the time.
Oh, that's the weight loss.
Yeah, but it's again
freezing. Yeah, again, using the keto to get to the weight loss. Yeah, no, I nearly froze.
You're cold now?
Cold. My feet are freezing right now.
Same here.
So
mine was been that way since I dropped below 230. It's been continually freezing.
It's a little cold.
Yeah. I actually said to Patty tonight, I need to look into long underwear if this is what it's going to be like at work. I never noticed it at work before. It was always like, isn't it cold in here? No, sorry, girls. I am just perfect.
Did your shoe size change a little bit? Did you notice your shoes a little looser?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't think I've always had wide feet anyway, but yeah, I think everything skinnies down. So, yeah, you notice that as well.
Yeah, I noticed like the ring.
Just had mine resized. I went like this at work one day after washing my hands, and it flew into the set tub at work, and I'm like, whoa! Almost lost it down the drain. So,
yeah, you don't realize how much weight you store everywhere, but it gets stored everywhere. Feet, hands, knees. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something you can really see clearly, but when it goes away, you notice it.
I read an article. I think it was Men's Health magazine, like their website, and they were talking about it was like top 10 reasons to lose weight or some foolish thing like this. So I went, we'll read. This is before I started any sort of weight loss. And one of the headliners to get your attention was, your stomach starts to eat your penis because of the extra weight. And I'm like, shit, man, if that's not a reason to get on board the weight loss train, I can't imagine another one that would be any better than that.
So you've listed off some benefits. Did you experience any benefits when you were on it, besides weight loss or anything that Brent's mentioned, like above and beyond?
Yeah, like the energy was there. I felt great while I was on it. Nothing like, I think it was mainly because I was losing the weight that I had gained from changing. Because when I gained all the weight, it was because I was, my eating habits were the same as when I had been in a high active job. And then I moved to a not so active job, but kept the same eating habits. And I got fat. So, and then I was like, I gotta fucking do something because I feel like shit. And then, of course, I think a lot of it was to do with weight loss that I started feeling great again.
Yeah. Any benefits that you experienced that weren't listed so far?
Not that weren't listed, but I will kind of touch on the whole energy thing. For me, before going on keto, after I ate a meal, it felt like I needed a nap every time. And now when I feel like I need a nap, I know I'm not sleeping well, not because of food.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not just more energy, it's just you don't feel like shit.
And we experience that now when we say, okay, well, we're going here for the weekend and we're just going to go ahead and eat those things that we like. You leave, and first of all, you feel like, oh my God, like I didn't eat the amount that I used to. I ate the foods that I used to, and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, but with the ketosis, your body goes, the hell is it? Get that out of here.
Yeah.
Like you can do a short cheat and be like, pow! All right, that constituted a good shit. Yeah, and you're done. You're out of there. So
Now, today for lunch, I went to hell with the joke.
Yeah, you said today.
I felt like shit. So I ate a hamburger and roll. I ate probably 3 potatoes worth of potato wedges, and a sausage, and then I had 4 ginger snap cookies. So like, this is something I.
Were you in a fucking food court?
I think it was a competition.
Yeah. And afterwards, I said to Randy, I says, I'm not doing that again. I feel like shit.
Yeah.
What do you, Ken? You experienced anything positive from keto?
Not really.
Okay.
No. Well,
He can see his pecker again.
well, the myth is that, that the more weight you lose, the bigger your dink gets. I just think it's the fact that you could see it without having to, put your leg up here, put your head down there, and it's you.
If you could put your head down.
The biggest
never
change
leave the
for
house.
me right now, is in my looks. I mean, when you have people that you know and have known for quite a long time, that it takes for you to get within 5 feet from them before they recognize you and who you are, that speaks volumes.
I had a customer standing over my shoulder as I looked her up in our system, and she said, I gave my address to Brent the last time I was in. And I went, yeah, that's me. And she goes, I'm so sorry, I didn't recognize you. Oh my land, what have you done?
Yeah.
You're half the man you used to be.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Okay, so we've gone over, I think you guys covered a majority of the benefits that I could list as well.
Yeah.
The only other one that I noticed is personally for me, and I think I actually probably do have a slight allergy to wheat, is that my eyesight improved from going on keto.
I wondered about that because I'm having trouble getting the bifocals. There's times that I'm like, I don't remember having trouble sitting here, and I'm wondering if that's what it is. So
my eyesight notably improved. My measure always was, you guys will love this one. As you can tell, sitting here, we can read Polk Audio and Samsung on that TV and soundbar that are sitting there in front of us behind the camera. At my house, I have a very similar, it's an LG TV, but it still has a little logo, and I have a Polk Audio bar as well that's there. I knew what they said, but I could never read the logos from back where my sitting position was, especially with my left eye. My right was always strong, my left was weak. And then I noticed one day that I was actually reading the logo, and then I started forcing myself to read fine print on a screen and whatever else from further distances, and my vision's come back to where I would deem it to be close to 20/20, if not 20/20.
wow.
For me, health-wise, I have diverticulitis, which means that berries and nuts are a no-no. for me. Popcorn. But being on keto, one of the things that I intake regularly are nuts and berries. And
You're not having an issue.
not an issue at all.
I would argue that it's the inflammation from other
Yeah.
Sugar.
yeah,
Sugar, really.
sugar, carb, whatever. Yeah.
Something I read about keto as well, which made sense looking back at what I did in the summertime, was they said that when you're in keto, you get a suppression for your diet. You don't feel as hungry once you're into keto. And I did some intermittent fasting. And when I got past the 24-hour mark, I had coworkers going, "Are you hungry?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, I've reached a point where I'm good and the hunger's gone." And I'm like carrying on.
I was fat there for a couple months while we've been doing this thing. I was fasting at least one day a week. I've stopped that.
Well, you're getting down to the point where there's not a lot left to take, right? I mean,
That last 10 to 20 pounds, that's
that's the bitch.
that's the one. Yeah.
So now we've talked about all the pleasantry, great things that we've experienced. What sucks most about keto? And we'll go around the room and get one or two in each. What sucks most for you?
Sitting down to take what is not a good shit. Because I firmly can believe that your body goes, hang on to that as long as possible because that asshole ain't feeding us anymore. And it sucks every bit of nutrient and whatever it can get out of the food and goes, there, shit that out. You get past that, but at the
There is a
beginning,
period where
it's like, oh, this is going to take a long fucking time. Fuck. It's not fun.
I have actually every day, every morning before I leave, I take a sugar-free fiber, and that is a world of difference.
I bet.
A world of difference.
what did you find terrible about it?
I miss donuts.
Okay, Homer.
You can have one every now and then, though. I mean,
Yeah, you don't have to stop.
Oh, I know, but
you just can't have three.
yeah. But no,
But that's the thing.
Or
I
3 potatoes worth of fucked potatoes
don't.
and a bun
Yeah,
and 4
donuts
cookies.
And a
are a
partridge
weakness
in a
for
pear
me.
tree.
I love donuts to no fucking end, and especially like homemade donuts, and not like Tim Hortons crap.
Hey, they're one of our sponsors now.
Tim Hortons,
I didn't get my check
No,
yet.
Somerville Ultra Bacon.
but
That's cheesy.
I knew I had to cut them completely out because with donuts I don't have my regular restraint.
Chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to just say goodbye.
What about you, Ryan? What was the hardest thing for you?
I don't know if it's the hardest, but it's one thing you guys haven't mentioned is the social backlash you get when you're at an event and
fuck.
you're insulting them by not eating what they brought.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's with that? eh?
Fuck off.
Or the fact that you simply didn't bring anything to eat for lunch and you have 10,000 questions. What do you mean you're not eating? I didn't bring anything for lunch. So you're just going to not eat. That's what I'm going to do. That's not good for you. I will decide what's good for me and what's not. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it's none of your fucking business if I brought anything to eat or not.
It's not good for you.
Basically.
I'm telling you, I have been watching people. I feel like I've stepped back from that portion of society. You have to eat 3 meals a day. You've got to have this, this, and this because it's good for you. All those myths is what I classify them as now. I've stepped back away from that in my own little bubble, and I watch the rest of the cows go to the feeder 3 times a day and just.
It's programming. It is social
It
programming.
is. That is exactly what it is. There is so much more that gets opened up. I'm going to end up going on a rant here, but it's true. When you start looking at that, and then you apply that to everything else that everybody just does, it's like we're all just following the leader. And that's the reason. I think that's part of it is when you step out from that and you start losing weight, people have to try to find a way to make it look negative because you've stepped away from what they're still doing.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, well, that
You're
can't
not
be
better
good
than
for
me.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
you're
don't
not
you lose
winning.
any more weight. You better not lose any more weight. You don't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find you have a little bit more prejudice towards people that are overweight?
When we were at the theater, we were the first ones in. to watch the new Terminator movie. And I watched people come in with the popcorn and the pop, and they sat down and took the candy out of their pockets, and I'm looking at them, and what's going through my mind is, you don't need any of that.
You know what goes through my mind though, every time I see someone that's struggling with weight and like extremely overweight and whatever else, there's two things. One, I don't know what they can and can't have on their diet. Like some people like literally have allergies to things that would negate them from being able to engage in a keto thing. They're very few and far between,
Right.
but I have to keep that in mind. I know a couple people, like very close friends of mine, one that can have a diet of 4 items. That's what they exist on, because they're hyper allergic to pretty much everything that breathes. Like
That's an extreme case, though.
it is, but I always have to keep that in my mind because I don't want to judge people because I don't know. I know it's rare, but it could be that case. The other thing I believe, and I mean, I think I can say this to you without pissing you off, there is an immense stigma to anything that has the word diet.
Oh, yeah.
It should be called the keto lifestyle, not
Yeah,
the diet.
absolutely. It is.
And the other thing
That's
is,
what my wife named her pinboard.
oh, nice.
Seriously, keto lifestyle.
And
Or keto life, I guess it is.
and the other thing is, because that stigma is there, and the whole thought about all these different diets, it's educating people to believe that no, this is the real deal. This is how your body works. And until you get proof, it's impossible to convince somebody of that.
No, you are what you eat. We were told that.
Right.
So if you're eating fat, you are fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that whole, anyway, let's not get into that. I will tell you my one negative, and you're going to laugh at when I tell you this. And
What's that?
even when I cheat on the keto diet, the pain that I get that's different than what you were saying about this, but the flush red face, like you just drank a half a gallon of whiskey instantly, and the immediately like, I gotta go to sleep, like almost a coma.
Yeah.
That feeling sucks so much
Knocks
that
you
even
right
when
on
I
your
have
ass.
planned out a cheat, it's almost like grabbing an electric fence. You know what's going to happen. You hate it, but you're going through with it anyway because you want that taste or that texture or that feeling.
Yep.
Right?
See if carb coma is his
I
thing.
usually get
We've got a guy. I don't have to
headache
look
shortly
that
after.
Yeah, but I remember Halden the first time when he went hardcore on keto. We went to your place to play Dungeons and Dragons, D&D.
Yep.
And Halden stopped at the bake shop, or I did, or whatever, and brought those peanut butter chocolate squares.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said, man, you eat one of those, you're going to feel it. And Halden, carb coma. There
coma.
it is. Halden ate one of those
One
squares,
And
square.
it's a picture of.
and within
McDonald's
3
French
minutes
fries.
was asleep, literally asleep in the chair, mid-game. Just like,
Out like a light.
My biggest
That was just a bad DM.
Oh,
complaint is the fact that,
the starches aren't digested until the meat has left your stomach, the meal has left your stomach and entered the small intestine. There, starch broken up into components, sugars along with the other components in your meal, amino acids from protein absorbed in the bloodstream. Here's the problem: if all you ate was sugar and starch, that means a lot of sugar will get absorbed at once pretty quickly after you eat it. That raises your blood sugar fairly high, which is especially bad if you're diabetic, and your pancreas has to use a lot of insulin to send signals to your body cells, including fat, muscle, and liver, to suck up the sugar already to get it out of the bloodstream, like a poison. And insulin, interestingly enough, I don't know if any of you guys have ever looked this up, but if you actually look at an insulin molecule underneath of a microscope, it's like a triangular razor blade.
Really?
And it slices and lacerates the blood vessels, which then causes the good or bad cholesterol to stick to the lacerations, much like the goop that shows up on a cut after you freshly cut it and it starts to get white and sticky. Yeah, it does that inside your blood. That's what causes high cholesterol build up in the body, is the boost of insulin and then add fats to it. So when people eat a high sugar, high fat combination, aka ice cream, one of our favorites, but if you eat ice cream or like a McDonald's meal, no offense to McDonald's, I mean, it is
I
what
had
it
it
is.
Saturday night.
But when you do that, that's what happens. The lacerations form, and I learned that from Dr. Ronnie Patrick. Full circle.
Toast and bacon.
I cheated Friday night and Saturday night this week
Yeah.
because I went out with I did live sound for Midlife Crisis. They had a gig on the weekend, and the band went out McDonald's.
Post-gig scenario.
So I had a Big Mac and French fries.
If you only knew the amount of peeled chicken nuggets I've had after gigs, you'd laugh.
Peeled chicken.
Well, I can eat the chicken, I just can't eat the fucking outside of them. So
Does somebody eat your outside?
McDonald's
Yes.
does have salads.
I won't name anybody, but they sing in bands that I've played in.
Not at 2 a.m. in the morning. They don't.
2 a.m. in the morning, not 2 a.m. in the afternoon. The other AM, the better AM.
When we owned the Satin Pillow, typically the parties would go until 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and we would stop at Mary's Pizza and get a Donair, full Donair a piece, and just sit there and talk to the owner because he was open 24 hours. Great guy, and just munch that down and then go home and go, we'll unpack the car in the morning, let's go to bed. So. There's a reason I was almost
my biggest
300
thing on
pounds.
keto is to try and like how many starts and stops on keto have I had?
A lot.
4.
But
Enough that there's a gamble. There was a gamble going on that both people lost.
But I equate that to the same as quitting smoking. I quit smoking several times in my life.
It's hard.
Until it finally stuck.
And sugar is more addictive.
Well, yeah, no doubt. I've said for years, quitting smoking was easier than changing food habits.
Absolutely.
But this time around, I've made a conscious effort to actually do more research, become a little bit more involved, and actually, and I'm still learning every day on what I can have, what I can eat, and my biggest thing is the recipes on where to get the recipes. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff online, keto, but to actually get the recipes and
Start a pin board. I'm
and
telling
start,
And then you can pull it up on your phone.
get
you
a
pull up your
cookbook or
tablet.
whatever. Because I made fudge for the first
Very
time,
good.
keto fudge on the weekend, and it was awesome.
Well,
No sugar.
I think we should go on the all chip diet next.
Yeah, that doesn't work. But we started our whole journey on the potato reset diet, and that works.
Yes.
What about an old donut diet?